Coach, if you could have your opening statement on tonight's game.
Yeah, a disappointing loss here at home tonight. This is one that we knew we had to get. It was one that I thought we put together a couple pretty good days of preparation for. It's a challenging scout and a challenging Ohio University team. They've got very capable players that can play one-on-one while spacing the floor with excellent three-point shooters. So it puts you in a bind on how you defend a little bit. And I thought for the most part we did a pretty good job in those one-on-one matchups where they ISO'd. But I thought offensively we struggled early in the game that just knocked us in a little bit of a hole to overcome. That as we strung together runs late, they were catch-up runs, or they were a run to get it over three and extending, and instead of expanding, that lead, which is where we wanted to get it to, because I thought our defense was pretty good. Offensively, we struggled early to find that rhythm.
Coach, looking at the stats, one of the biggest plus sides of this game was the women's ball movement. We had more assists than they had.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just talk about how well the girls have been working together?
It's been phenomenal, especially this second half of the year and second half of the MAC play. The ball has moved significantly better, and this is a team that demands that you make a pass and demands that you make an extra pass on that with the way that they front the post. They put a couple extra people on the help side. It's built-in help, and you've got to be able to see those skips. I thought early in the game we took the bait on some of those skip passes that they weren't totally in rhythm, but because we were open, we shot it, and wish we attacked those long closeouts a little bit better and made them play out of rotation a little bit more. But as the game progressed, I thought we shared the ball wonderfully. We adjusted we didn't get so deep in the paint that we couldn't assist. As we got too deep in the first quarter, they tied us up, or we traveled, or there was a turnover and no angle on the kick out. We stopped a little bit shorter, worked our feet, and now we're getting some one-mores. And I'm really proud of the group for how they've learned to share the ball and that level of trust. As the season has gone on, and that 17 assists is a really good mark on 22 field goals.
You mentioned this was the final home game of the season. With only one more game left, what has been the biggest learning experience through this first season of MAC play?
I think you got to be a prized fighter, and every team has a different style, and you got to be able to fight the welterweights. You got to be able to fight the middle and the heavyweights, and what worked against Northern Illinois doesn't necessarily totally work against Ohio. They're two totally conflicting different styles, and we've got to be able to adjust, to those styles, both on the defensive end and then, certainly on the offensive end, to be able to play through those. And some of them force you to play basketball, and the A to B to C plays sometimes aren't there, but the ball's got to move, and the things that we value about the ball touching multiple sides, the ball touching the paint, still have to live true as we play. And I think that's just the biggest learning curve for the group, to get adjusted to that, and that is the one thing heading into next year that you can reference things from teams, and as we reference some from the non-conference, it's just different when you've lived it in conference and in a very good MAC conference that makes you pay for mistakes.
And kind of piggybacking off of that one, what is going to be the biggest focus going into not only next game, but into the postseason and the first few games of next?
The process, right? You've got to stay consistent in your process, and that process has to be, the best version of yourself. And if that's your best version of yourself, it's going to be the best version of the team. And I think that over the next 48 hours still has to resonate for us to be doing the right things. Because the minute you take your foot off the gas of doing the right things all the time, you become inconsistent, and that's what we're looking to try to avoid. So the process, stays the same, and it ramps up even more, because you got to learn and refine what that looks like. So that becomes the focus, over the next 48 hours, and then postseason's postseason. But our sole focus is just going to be our standard preparation, for Central, and making sure that we're the more confident team headed into that, because that's the only thing that we can control in our prep.
Haney got a double-double tonight. Can you just talk about her performance?
It's pretty crazy that she was able to get all those boards. But I think a big credit to her. I thought she did a really good job of guarding the ball, and some of those rebounds came by way of her fanning out her defender, and them missing short, them missing, and her turning and boxing, and that was exactly what we wanted that to look like. And hats off to to Mo, who, leaves it all out on the line, and as all of our players did. But I thought that was a big catalyst and a reason why she rebounded at such a good level, is she did exactly what we wanted to do defensively, and that put her in the best position to go snatch those boards, and credit for her for being able to do both.
Zakia and Tanisha both got 11 points tonight. Talk about their effort throughout the season.
Yeah, a lot of growth throughout the season. I think, Zakia and Tanisha both did not come in with a lot of game experience. Obviously, Tanisha being a freshman and Zakia taking a larger role, into her junior year. I thought they grew as the season went. You could see the confidence rise in certain games, and we need that confidence to continue to rise. It cannot plateau. It's still got to continue to climb, and they've got to shoot the ball at a good clip. They work. They're in the gym. They live in it. Tanisha's been living in the gym before and after. She's been wearing our manager out, in a really positive way. And that, at the end of the day, is exactly what you want